Yeah. And the thing is, too, it doesn't mean anything else, because it's very clearly a Lepricon in the thing. And the other thing, too, is the name makes 0 sense, because they have no Irish players. Who is the Lepricon? Is that Bambo? It has to be Bambo.
No, Bambo's the Leprechaun.
Bambo's definitely going to be the Leprechaun.
I remember that.
Wait, was he even on the team with Hani?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
It was BCZ.
He was always the Leprechaun.
Okay, he was always the Leprechaun. That would make sense. I don't.
Is that how you see Bambo in your head?
Dude,
just a little leprechaun?
I love Bambo. I can't get that out of my head, but it's so. He's just.
Where's your gold? You'll see.
You'll see. For people that don't know, I'll give you my weird Bambo anecdote.
Sure.
Ask him if he's ever lost at anything in his entire life. He'll always say the other person got lucky or whatever. All right, we'll actually go to the draft. Things are a little bit different here around. We've got the clockwork coming out from Monkey Freedom Fighters. It's a good response, I think, to the gyrocopter, especially if the gyro doesn't rush a BKB. You can get something like the blade mail. If you get a 4-staff, you can really just outplay him. Like, yeah, when it comes to the positional game.
I feel like we're like, I saw the draft on the first one too, and I was like, oh, this is a little bit more normal. Lena gyrocopter. It's a little different though, the Bane being picked up, and that is very specifically for Mad. He loves that hero.
Oh yeah, I think it's just a hero that you expect him to play at this point. He played it really well last game, and so they pick up the Mirana now. And I think 4CL, especially this game, are just going to apply pressure. I asked Bambo, I was like, what happened that game? And he's like, YOLO. He's like, this game we're gonna bring it to them. I mean, it wasn't those words.
How do you approach game 1 YOLO?
It wasn't YOLO.
1? YOLO.
He was like, first game of the day. It happens.
Okay. All right. Very well. No, that definitely does happen.
There's a refractory period where, you know, they warm up a little bit.
Refractory period?
Yeah, it's like you chill, you play badly, and then you gear up.
All right, Mirana and Enigma. Mirana, great to pair up with the. Is this? I mean, this has got to be a Sing Sing Mirana, right? Does that mean that Sing Sing is gonna play the mid? Arise plays carry, or is this a safe lane Mirana? In fact, I was just watching us stream just this morning. He was like, "I'm gonna bring the safe lane Mirana back."
I mean, it's not terrible. The thing is, again, we should keep talking about it, is heroes that you're comfortable with. Sure. It pairs really well with the Clockwork and the Bane. The Enigma, too. Like, you get a Black Hole, you shoot Starfall in there. The arrow can't miss. You just can't miss it with a lot of these abilities.
Right.
But 4C&L, they're going to go for a classic, the Wisp BGM. And I'm curious to see what they pair this up with. It's probably going to be the gyrocopter for
I mean,
sure.
it's just the gyrocopter, right? It just, I mean, it makes the hero, like, you can run Wisp kind of with any carry, but specifically with gyrocopter, I think one of the most annoying things, gyrocopter is already, I think, too fast as a hero. And when you have a Wisp tether on top of him, that makes him even faster. And then plus it kind of shores up one of the faults of gyrocopter is that he's kind of a squishy carry, especially early on before he's able to build into too much stats.
Oh, for sure, but this Queen of Pain, I feel like, is going to either have a really good game or just the roughest time. Like, if... I'm just going to say Monkey.
Oh, no. They actually do go back for the Tiny Wisp mid, Lena gyrocopter dual safe lane, and Queen of Pain off lane?
Yeah, they could do that. They could also, if they feel comfortable enough, put the Queen of Pain in the safe lane. But I don't think they'll do that. I think that's unlikely. It really just depends on who plays what. Like, I could see a scenario where Swift Ending plays the gyrocopter, Bambo plays the Tiny, and Pycat plays the Queen of Pain.
Yeah.
But it would just really depend on how they decide to lay things up. Like, that's the thing about...
Wait, Bambo does offlane Tiny, right? Did you just say that?
No.
He does offlane Tiny, though.
I definitely never saw that.
I've seen that from Bambo. It is
honestly,
a Bambo specialty.
If you've seen Bambo do something, like, it's...
In an official.
Yeah, he runs everything off lane. Do you remember when we played, it was like, we played the C qualifiers at TI4, and he's like, I want Rubik off lane. We're just like, whatever. Zephyr sucks anyways.
Why not?
It can't get worse than this. We'll go with it. We trust you, Bambo.
Oh, man. All right. So our last pickup, very clearly, Monkey Freedom Fighters did not expect the Tiny to be picked up. I mean, I could see Bambo doing this, where he's like, okay, so at that point in time, you're running, like, I guess a defensive tri-lane, or you maybe run Tiny Wisp off lane or something.
I mean, when you do Tiny Wisp though,
I guess.
yeah, when you do Tiny Wisp, a lot of it comes down to synergy between players.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much synergy, for example, EGM has with the rest of the squad, because he probably hasn't had time to play with them. But whenever I run into the two of them in pub games, they always do this against me mid. Like, no matter what happens, they always pick Tiny Wisp. It's so annoying. So, and I know they've played it a lot. That's why I'm thinking that they might switch around the lanes as a result of this. But probably the more likely thing is just standard setup. Queen of Pain off lane, Tiny Wisp mid, Gyrocopter Lina safe. It just really depends on who plays the Tiny. Like, if it's Pycat, then that's for sure the lanes that'll happen. If it's Bambo, then the Queen of Pain will probably be safe.
Yeah. And MFF clearly did not pick this one. Otherwise, they would hand out the team. They're going to go for the Templar Assassin. Orion is going to play that one as mid. We are going to have a safe lane Mirana.
I don't think that was too big of a surprise. That's another thing, is that whenever I think of Mirana players, I think of Sing Sing. Yeah. He's one of the few that like really makes it work for him.
Mm-hmm. So Swift Ending is actually going to be, he's going to be playing the Tiny. So it looks like the traditional lanes that we thought.
Alright, so this is an off-lane gyro? That sounds really weird to me.
No. Safe lane gyro, right? And the off-lane quad.
It's
kind of weird that Pycat's playing it, though.
Yeah, they might just... I don't know. We're probably just reading this too much into this, honestly. Yeah. Like, Bambo's definitely going to go off-lane.
Alright. You said he could off-lane anything. Well...
It's just what he does.
We're going to put this to a test. Off-lane Gyrocopter boots first.
The more that you doubt him, the more that he's going to want to do it. Like, people on Reddit...
Does he become better that way, too? Like,
I don't even know.
Him, the stronger he becomes,
I'm not really quite sure if that's even true, but it's just like...
Is that why he throws? To make people doubt him more?
I mean, in Bambo's mind, he's never thrown a game, and he's like, oh, they're going to find Matt here, possibly? Oh, he's going to hug that tree line. Oh, this is so smart. He immediately TP'd. Place the lane. He's going to spot this entire rotation coming in. He's got to be so careful, though. Because if anybody just decides to walk like a millimeter down... Wow. Oh, no. They're not going to. All right. He's got to... This is a scary moment, but...
They all get spotted out. And the 5-man rotation isn't really going to work. I mean, when you know a 5-man rotation is coming, what's the bet? Oh, Bambo actually had him behind the tree. Is going to be able to get a lot of damage on Sing Sing. It was either... take all of that damage or go for the leap level 1.
I'm noticing Sing Sing too in both the games that he's been playing the safe lane decides to go for this mango first, which I'm pretty interested about.
Well, mana is a big issue with Mirana, right? You've got very high costing spells between Starstorm and Sacred the Arrow is okay. It's just mainly Starstorm when it's maxed out, 160 mana, and you've got a very limited mana pool, so... And then you've even got Leap as well as Moonlight Shadow to throw down. I feel like the Mango is almost a necessity for Mirana simply because when you get in that scenario, you want to be able to have that extra 150 mana.
The problem, though, is I think if you go for that, your attack damage is incredibly low.
Oh, yeah. Like that's I would say stats is the biggest reason that Mirana isn't picked up more as a core.
Yeah, she can't really... If she goes to the right-click on the Gyrocopter, it doesn't actually do too much. Yeah. She's going to right-click him right now, and it's going to do 30 damage.
Then again, Gyrocopter boots first. You're in a very similar scenario. Gyrocopter has pretty terrible damage in the beginning. However, he makes up for that in really early damage with the Rock Barrage. But that's going to be a one-on-one, it looks like. Mid lane, we're going to have Orize's Templar Assassin up against Swift Ending and EGM, the Tiny Wisp duo. Looks like Mad was trying to provide some assistance, but he's going to go back up to the top lane and see if he can't get a sleep onto Sexy Bambo, but it looks like really good communication. That's the key right now. Making sure that Bambo, when he is top, knows where Matt is going to be headed to, because if he ever gets hit by sleep, he's dead.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's really scary about this lane, is that if Bambo's not careful for even half a second, he just dies. But it looks like he's being incredibly careful right now. He realizes that this is a weird scenario where the lane is starting to push up. He should be okay. If Mad goes to the side pull, then it kind of resets things again with creep equilibrium, and that's what he should go for right now. But I mean, I'm just curious to see how this is meant to work out, because this is going to be such a rough lane for the Gyrocopter.
Gyrocopter's actually rotating over to try and get in Yapzor's face. I am still not, I mean, he was in sort of a 1 versus 1 at the very beginning, and in that part it was okay, but once he starts dealing with more than one hero in lane, I just don't see how this Gyrocopter is going to be able to do much. Even that, his attempt at trying to kind of harass the Enigma didn't really do that much.
Yeah, it's just going to be an
the
awkward
Courier, though, it's going to be picked up. Bambo's going to dive in deep for this one, but he really wants it. He just needs one more right click. This
is the most
speed.
Bambo thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, he's not going to get it. Bambo, that's got to be our first blood, right?
No, he's going to get out too.
EGM's going to come out.
That's the crazy part, is that everything you thought was wrong.
And now he's going to simply deny himself to Ancients, because why not?
What a guy, honestly.
That was absurd.
This mid lane. Rise might actually be going down.
Now they bring him low, but looks like that Refraction was able to soak up just enough damage of the Avalanche.
That's what I mean, though. That's why Bambo's my favorite person in the Dota scene. It's like, no matter what happens, it's entertaining. You're going to have a good time with it. And mid, Arise has to be kind of careful here because the Avalanche does quite a bit of damage. He can get tossed back here if he's not careful, and it's actually EGM that almost goes down.
Yeah, that was a great play from Arise, seeing that opportunity with the Meld Strike. And seeing the regeneration gap, I mean, Swift Ending is a little bit low. The Wisp is going to be forced back. This is a great opportunity for Mad to kind of keep the Tiny out of CS range, and Arise is going to be able to catch up. He's 10-4 right now compared to the 17-5 on the Tiny, but considering his lane, I would say that this CS is a very fair amount for Arise to have.
Yeah, and I mean, Mad's going to be comfortable pretty much doing whatever he wants because he knows that Bambo's having such a rough time at top. Like, Bambo's ward is meant to spot the pull, so he can come up and kind of harass. Because he knows if it's just the Mirana, there's not a whole lot Sing Sing can do to kill him. But as soon as that combination runs up, it's really hard for him to be able to survive that. But I mean, we talked about it before. Like, yeah, you don't die, but at the same time, if you're only level 1 at this phase of the game, it's probably not an ideal scenario.
Well, maybe a pick-off on Mad is exactly what they need, but at the same time, Yapzor is going to be here with all his Eidolons, and I doubt they're really going to be able to continue this one. Sleep, and DGM's actually going to wake up Bambo. Yapzor still playing around with the Eidolons, getting some damage out. Mad easily healed up. It looks like they're actually going to be collided on. Arise is coming over. They're going to go straight for EGM and try and pop him. Arise is going to be able to beat through that Refraction, but still easily able to get the double kill there thanks to the help of Sing Sing. Now Swift Ending actually tossing Paris outside of his own cogs, but the arrow lands, and Swift Ending is going to go down as well. That is a 5-man from Monkey Freedom Fighters, but it gets them 3 different kills.
Yeah, and the 2 of the kills that they have right now were denies, but at the same time, good rotation by pretty much everyone. The Clockwork wasn't able to do too much at bottom, but as a result of that, he's going to soak up a lot of this mid XP, and he was a part of so many of those kills right there. So
I actually didn't notice that the creeps managed to get the deny there on EGM.
Yeah, he actually just got last hit by the troll at the last second.
Wow. It's only 2 kills for the 5-man. Would you say it's worth it? I mean, they got the kill on the Tiny. That's pretty big, right?
Oh, it's 100% worth it. Like, you'll take something like that every single time.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was just the Wisp dying, it's just, it frees up a lot of the map and it just forces 4CL. Their mentality is going to shift. They're going to be like, we can't really play like that.
Right.
Can't continue to run at them. And I mean, it's sad to say, but this offlane Gyrocopter just hasn't been successful whatsoever. And this Clockwork has had such a good time. Like, he's level 5 already. He's got almost Tranquil Boots. He actually does have the Tranquil Boots completed now too. And I think you talked about it as well when you play the offlane. It really comes down to levels.
Yeah. Dire Side's offlane Clockwork. I mean, there is no other offlane map side that gives you a better advantage than offlane Clockwork on Dire Side, just because of that cog block that he can do. So he's going to assure himself a pretty fast level 6 at this point. And CS-wise, he's even done decently. He's doing the maxed out rocket builds, which does lend you to have a lot more CS in lane. But this is still, I think, pretty important because basically your kill power is going to be lessened by not going Battery Assault maxed out. But at the same time, it's not just about the CS, but you have to think about it in the way that you're also stopping denies, which the Queen of Pain very clearly, especially a player like Pycat, who's known for his mid play, is going to be pretty deny focused. In a simple 1 versus 1 that he wins handedly.
this top lane again, Bambo just heads up there. Not a whole lot that he can do against this lane, and Sing Sing is having a pretty good time of it. He's always going to have worse CS than I feel like a hero Queen of Pain, where it's so much easier to last hit with a hero like Queen of Pain.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a rotate, too, for a lot of those ganks at the same time. That was a pretty hefty rotation that they made into the jungle. But pretty decent advantage right now for...
Mad going the long way around just to make sure that Bambo will be caught by this sleep. But mass rotations are going to come out there. Should be able to get Bambo, but the question
he's
is,
actually out of mana right now
for this one. Sing Sing, he needs to be able to bottle up in order to get the mana for the leap, but he's not going to be able to in time.
Mad's
and
gonna go down
committing for the kill. It's not, oh, nice rocket out from Paris that at least ensures a 2-for-2 trade-off. But in the end, you got to feel good for 4C&L being able to make the most of a gank on a gyrocopter. It really doesn't matter that much considering how far behind he is.
Yeah, level 2 gyrocopter nets you almost nothing.
Potential black hole opportunity. Apps are going to come in. Hookshot will land on Swift Ending, so no black hole really needed. Swift Ending should go down either way. Again, another 4-man rotation. MFF not afraid to group up in the beginning of the game.
This is just smart rotations all around the map for them. That top was a little bit of an overextension, but I think they assumed that they could get the kill a lot sooner than that.
Yeah.
But it just took them a little bit too long. Arai still isn't having the best time, and Swift Ending, even though he is dying a lot, like they stacked a lot of the jungle for him too. If you notice, EGM's constantly stacking the hard camp.
Yep.
So this is going to be a little bit of a recovery mechanic for him, but still not the ideal scenario that you want in this lane.
At the same time, there is a stack for Arise. Advantage on having the Dire Side Templar Assassin. Just easily head over there and stack up the Ancients for yourself while also getting the rune.
This is so greedy right now. Like Mad's just going to the off lane because he feels so comfortable, and they might just go for a gank on Bambo right now because they realize he probably feels pretty safe about this. He doesn't have any ward vision, so he's just going to have to game sense this, but it's going to be nearly impossible with that sleep.
Oh, the hookshot isn't up yet. 1 second left. Mad kind of blocking it out. They do pop the Moonlight Shadow there. Looks like just a bit of miscommunication between the two Frenchmen, as that hookshot wasn't ready to go.
He probably said while he was running down, like, oh, it's going to be up. But it was just a little bit too early, and it's only a level 1 sleep at the same time. Like, he's only a level 4 right now. He's opted to go for the stats.
Oh, Satsuka going to be picked up here by Paris. Swift Ending has no more mana left. He's actually doing the right play here, trying to eat through the cogs, and with the level 1 battery assaults, it does take a while, but finally Satsuka does go down.
He's on a killing spree too. In the last game, he was pretty massive.
Reveal on Arise. He tries to dodge the Shadow Strike there, but the dust was already out. He will be able to get underneath his tower, though. Feels like perhaps just a little bit too premature. Pycat did have the double damage and everything. He really felt like he was in a good position, but I think the slow trap is kind of what kept him from being able to get it off. Enough right clicks to force out the Sonic Wave.
Yeah, and right now, everybody from Monkey Freedom Fighters is just leveling. They're getting everything they want out of this. Yapsor, if this game kind of remains passive, can just continue to farm this out. Actually, that top rune isn't going to get denied, and I mean, Yapsor just continues to farm. He doesn't have to make too many rotations, just because once he gets the mech, he's going to feel pretty good about this game. It's not like anybody from 4C&L is getting an overwhelming amount of farm out of this phase. And even this Bane is getting so much out of this laning phase. He's just gone to the off lane. He doesn't really care if he gets ganked, because it's a level 5 Bane. It's not going to be something that really impacts the game too much.
Right.
But at the same time, if he's left alone, he just gets a free level 6.
They saw it, but it doesn't matter much. Swift Ending still going to be able to clear through some stacks, and Sing Sing managed to get a solo pick off there on the gyrocopter. I can only presume that a clutch arrow landing manages to get him that pick off. Paris is actually going to stack up that Ancients a little bit more for a Rise, and he should probably take the time to clear through that. It's kind of interesting. He went for a second level meld rather than the level of Psyblades. Do you usually leave Psyblades at level 1 nowadays?
Some go for 2,
yeah,
which is pretty common, so you can do the Ancients a lot easier, but going for this is a pretty old school build that used to be really common, where you just max out the meld and you rely on the 1 level of the Psyblades.
Right. Yeah, that was exactly why I was thinking about the 2 levels of Psyblades, just because you already have the Ancient stack. It's very normal for most mid TAs to prioritize that second level than the meld.
What this allows you to do, though, is you can just smoke into Roshan with Enigma plus TA. Take it really easily.
Yeah, that's true. Tier 1 tower does go down, thanks to rotation out from Arlena. Sing Sing will be denied that opportunity to get that extra gold. He has caught up with Pycat and Farm, thanks in part to the number of kills that he's gotten, and Pycat just not being able to secure a last hit on a single kill yet.
And the invis is popped. Everybody from 4C&L, minus the Wisp, is in this area. But I don't even know if they find anything. Like, the Mirana Moonlight Shadows popped. Arise feels pretty comfortable about sitting here because he's got the backup of Mad. This is a pretty significant rotation that they made. This is a lot of heroes that they dedicated to this, and if they're not being able to get anything, they're just going to get split pushed up.
Rise will pick up the Haste Rune at bottom lane, and the 3-man smoke, pretty much useless. I mean, even Sing Sing felt comfortable pushing that next wave due to some of the vision that they had.
It was when they saw EGM with that ward right here.
Yeah, without the smoke on him.
Yeah, they were like, there's no way that a Wisp is just running into our jungle by himself.
Yeah.
Alright, so again, this is what we talked about. They smoke into Roshan. This isn't going to take very long either. It shouldn't. Like, Yapzor's got the mech for him as well if he gets low. And the arrow's going to fly at the same time.
The arrow, making it that much easier.
But this is, when you get that second level of the meld, especially instead of the side blades, it just means that you're prioritizing doing this over going for something like the Ancient Stack.
Right. Yeah, he's even got a 3rd level of it.
Might actually need some help here.
Yeah, they still have the mech.
Vision.
They still have the mech out from Yapzor. So, look, I think they're fine. Because they're going to share the damage, mech up.
Yeah, they'll shoot another arrow into it, maybe?
No, Sing's going to prioritize. He sees that the Roshan's definitely going to go down and prioritizes trying to scout out a little bit. Maybe even get a pick off. So Roshan goes down. Rise doesn't quite bump up to level 10. In fact, Yapzor is level 10. Jeez. Doing quite well for himself. Mad actually managed to get a good sleep off. Hookshot completely misses. Arrow is also going to miss there. To the skill shots. Oh, here comes all the damage, but Yapzor managed to mech up through that one. Mad falls, but they're still in a great position. Saska easily goes down, and Arise looking for more with his Haste Rune, but it looks like just a 1-for-1 trade-off.
They don't have to continue to overcommit for this. Arise isn't in the best position right there. Yapzor has such low HP, and I mean, 4C&L, they have to go for something like this. They're just getting further behind when it comes to objectives. So going for the mid kill there was great, but I think they would have liked to see if they could have taken down the tower at the same time. There's just too many heroes there in resistance.
Boy, that felt like it could have been such a better fight there for 4C&L if they had managed to land either the hookshot or the arrow. Especially since the hookshot kind of sets up the arrow so easily. I mean, once you land that hookshot, that's a guaranteed kill on whoever you got. Chances are Rise is going to be able to pick up a free kill with that Haste Rune.
Oh, for sure, but they'll probably just continue to go for all the objectives right now.
Yeah.
Like, they got to feel really comfortable at this phase of the game. Like, they've got map control. They just took the Roshan at a really early point in the game, too. You've got Sing Sing, who has a Mithril Hammer. I'd imagine he's going to go for... Or no, it's not Sing Sing that has it. It's the Templar Assassin. Sorry.
Jump in on Swift Ending. There is no EGM save whatsoever. I'm not sure if they just knew he wasn't around to be able to get the relocate save, or they just figured that if he does jump in, they'd be able to get the black hole before the relocate actually pulled him out. But
they probably said to themselves, too, like, if that happens, we'll get a Wisp for free.
Yeah.
They don't want to take a fight. When the Tier 1 tower is up at bottom lane, and they've got the Aegis, there's no way that 4C&L take that fight.
Right. Especially given the Tiny's positioning, like he was decently forward in lane. So you could probably just rely on staying close to your tower in order to pick off that Wisp.
And 4C&L, they're going to show most of their heroes mid right now, but I mean, how do you really take a tower with these types of heroes? There's actually very little way that they can do it safely. Swift Ending just has to have a lot more net worth than this for them to be able to go for something like the push into this tier 1 mid.
Right.
Otherwise, they just simply don't have enough damage.
Rise, once again, gets dusted up, but no real action out from 4C&L. They do not feel comfortable enough. Now Sing Sing actually picking up the Invis rune is going to try and find an opportunity for an arrow.
Typically, it's your offlane player that plays that playmaking role, the one that can jump in and start the fight for you.
Yeah.
If you look at MFF's lineup, they've got the clockwork. 4C&L, what do they have? Like, how do they start a fight? You can throw a homing missile.
Do you think they should have gone for a tiny blink in order to give them that kind of initiation that they're lacking?
Yeah, I think so. The problem with that, though, is once he blinks, he just dies.
Yeah.
There's so much damage on the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters. I think it actually had to be their offlaner that had to do it, but... I mean, Bambo's committed to the mid-game right now. There's no way that he can kind of transition out of it. He's got an urn, 2 levels of the homing missile, you've got 0 damage items, so the flat cannon doesn't even do anything. So they're going to have to take fights soon. They're probably just waiting out a little bit more farm on their Queen of Pain before they get any type of fight.
Speaking of him, this is definitely Lincoln's, right? Because of the Bane. I mean, I've seen Scythe of Ice first, like, once on a Queen of Pain, and I was not a big fan.
Probably isn't Lincoln's. Yeah. It helps a lot, because any other situation you just get blown up by... I would really like a Hex, though. Like, this might be one of those odd games where I feel like it is.
Oh, Sing Sing landing the arrow there on Bambo. And now Paris sees his opportunity. They just need a little bit more damage, but they don't want to overcommit.
It's only the 2 of them up here right now.
Yeah.
This mid tower,
their team's taking the middle tower, so... Oh, jump in. They're actually going to go for Pycat here. Paris moving forward, managed to get the conk pushback on both of them. And now the relocate to the side. Leap away there from Sing Sing while Paris commits to the kill on Sexy Bambo. Their trade-off is a 1 for 2. So far, Yapsar coming in with his mech, wasn't able to save anybody. And Mad kind of trying to position himself to see if he can catch anybody after the relocate, but doesn't look like they'll have the kind of firepower. Still, though, they did take the middle tier 1 tower. Arise was able to pick that one up and is getting a lot of farm. It looks like he's going to go for that Desolator first, really abusing that he is higher up there in the net worth chart.
I think it's just a good item to get. It's so cheap. I think that's what really brought heroes like Clinks and Templar Assassin like back to the forefront of the meta, just because Deso is such a cheap item now that synergizes really well with the hero. Like, it allows you to tower push. It's just free raw damage that you can get on a hero like Tiny, who doesn't have the best armor. Yeah. The Queen of Pain is in a similar boat. Their highest armor hero is this Gyrocopter.
Yeah, TA actually becomes a really powerful split-pushing hero, especially if you get the Blink Dagger, because most of the time our pickoffs are, like a lot of times the Yule Scepter heroes, and Refraction destroys Yule Scepter if you have a Blink Dagger with it. Just because the 50 damage doesn't actually go through, so you still have the Blink Dagger intact once you come down from that tornado.
That top fight, though, it was still pretty successful for 4C&L. Like, they got a lot out of it. They got the dominating spree out of the Clockwork, and they slowed down the Mirana, too, who isn't really going to make that much impact when it comes to a core roll. She's decided to go for the Ogre Club. Like, that could be a BKB first, but that would mean that Sing Sing really lacks damage there.
Yeah. I know you're not probably familiar with the ways of the offlane Gyrocopter, but is there any difference in build?
No.
Like item-wise?
I don't really know what he goes for here, because if you're going to go for this type of build especially, you want to get into these fights early, but they haven't been able to really do so. And if they can get both
Alina
of these...
going to get bursted down by Arise. At the same time, they're going to try and relocate out, but EGM is stopped as Yapsar comes in right at the right time with the Malphus, and Swift Ending will be the last to fall there in that skirmish in the middle lane. 5-15, Monkey Freedom Fighters once again taking control of the game rather early on.
And you've got a BKB on the Enigma now. There's very little that 4C&L can do to really take a fight now. They just kind of have to play incredibly defensively and hope that something happens where Pycat's able to just go around the map making space. And he is going to go for, it looks like a Hex, which I think helps out. It's just more crowd control that they don't have, right? Because again, they don't have the best ways of starting fights. They don't really have that hard lockdown stun that's really going to impact stuff. But a Hex can really change that for them.
Arrow goes out, but are they actually going to try and force this fight? Bambo TPs into the tier 2 tower, but a very aggressive maneuver for a team that has to just give up that tower with no real recompense. Like, Pycat managed to pick up his Scythe of Ice, and it looks like he's waiting on a pickoff in this top lane. Matt's going to come on through. Pycat forced to blink away.
He doesn't have a TP, and he actually... It was a 50-50 shot right now for the Clockwork to throw that rocket up there, but he guessed right. So there's not a whole lot they can do to gank him. He doesn't have a TP as the awkward spot, so you might actually have to start blinking the other way. But it looks like they just want to take this fight. They've got a lot of heroes up there. The Wisp Tiny is at bottom.
Oh, Bambo Hook shot misses, but oh man, hasted, Arise. It's not even a question. Bambo will die once again, and Alina, he's not going to get out either. The battery salt actually stops him. I think he was home free. And now he's going to be slowed down by the trap. And Paris, well, rather Arise, will take the kill. Double for him. And it looks like a tier 2 tower on top of that. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, they're actually going to go for this one. Perfect duo. Mad going to sleep one. Fiend's Grip the other. Sing Sing will try and pop EGM as fast as possible. And now see if they can clean up Swift Ending as well. It's going to rely on an arrow. Ooh, slightly off the mark there. They still get a trap out from Arise. TP away. Mad sleep. Not quite up in time.
Still, that was such a good rotation by them. They got so much out of that. Like, they two-pronged attack that. Because the one way that you're going to come back into this game is that with Tiny, they're like, we're not going to let you get anything out of this. Like, there's no space available to you at this point in the game, and they're feeling the pressure right now because there's not a whole lot that they can do to stop that.
Yeah. I love the fact that Bane just works out so well in conjunction with Moonlight Shadow because you know there's usually not going to be any other heroes paired up with a Tiny Wisp. So Bane is the perfect kind of hero who does two very long duration disables. He is able to control the Tiny while Fiend's gripping up the Wisp every time.
And there's...
So they won't even be able to split push very effectively.
No, not at all. And that's what Monkey Freedom Fighters is showing here. They're saying, we're not going to give you anything in this part of the game, but 4C&L, this is a little bit of a desperation smoke. This is one of those smokes where we don't have a lot of other options where we're not going to out-farm you, so we're going to take this, but there's a high ground advantage right now from Monkey Freedom Fighters.
Oh, and YapzOr's got the BKB too. He's ready to go with the black hole.
Oh, the
more! Perfect black hole from YapzOr, and that is going to be a very clean fight for the Monkey Freedom Fighters. Well set up to go into Roshan. Unfortunately for them, it's not quite up, but they can pretty much do whatever they want with this game. It's 5-22 by the 24-minute marker, almost a kill a minute for the Kappa team.
And there's the only person that survives that is Bambo, but that's probably really irrelevant right now for Monkey Freedom Fighters. So like, well, we didn't kill a level 9 gyrocopter.
Who has no items.
Yeah.
Like he's got a bracer and urn.
They just 4-man wiped them after a smoke ink where it was a little bit, they kind of had to go for it because nothing was really happening around the map and you can't just wait to get picked off. But at the same time...
That's here. Fiend's Grip. Not even Bambo is going to survive in the long run anyway. Arise comes in. Actually, Bane able to take that kill.
And I think with this next Aegis too, they can decide to go for the high ground.
Yeah.
Maybe they go for this top tier 2 tower push first, but that part isn't even really relevant.
Their Lina, not nearly as farmed as YapzOr was as the 4 position last game. So there's no real fallback from the supports. It's entirely on a Tiny Wisp combination, which has very clearly not been able to accomplish much so far. And Pycat's Scythe of Vice first, Queen of Pain, which leaves him, well, to say squishy in a team fight would be perhaps a little bit misleading. He could just get one-shotted down by Arise.
Yeah, and that Roshan, I mean, they're just waiting things out right now. If nobody defends that top tower, they know that everybody from 4C&L is rotated. So they're just waiting for that to verify, and then they can set up for a fight however they want at this point in the game. Like, you've got all the items that you can possibly need. Your Enigma has a BKB Blink Dagger mech, which is pretty insane farm for what he's done so far this game. Your Clockwork has his Blade Mail, Force Staff. The Templar Assassin could get a few more items, but even that doesn't really change anything for you.
Do you go BKB on TA?
If you get the Aegis, no. You continue to build greedier.
Okay. So you go Desolator? Or sorry, Daedalus?
Yeah, I think so. If he picks up this Aegis, he will. And he should. There's nobody on his team that has nearly the same amount of net worth. Like, Sing Sing's gone for the SNY, which is pretty typical nowadays of Agi mid-game carries.
Bambo's pinging out like mad, but there's no way they contest that. In fact, he's now going to be caught by the hook shot. Bambo easily taken out by an arrow. Now, well, actually, Pycat managed to get the Scythe of Ice on Arise. He's left a little exposed. They could have maybe popped the Laguna Blade and taken away that Aegis, but the Lina's not even going to escape, it seems like. Trap slows her down, turns around, tries to finish off Paris, does so successfully. Shortly thereafter, though, Arise will claim her bounty.
Yeah, and that's still a decent engagement for, even though they lost a hero, which they definitely didn't want to do. They wanted to get a clean 2-0 there, maybe even 3-0, but still a good engagement for them because any fight where they end up with the numbers advantage at this point of the game, they're going to feel really good about. Because this is going to be in the high ground. There's not a whole lot that can deter them. Like last game, they had a lot, right? They had the Earthshaker, you've got the Enigma as a backup, but you know that nobody on 4C&L really have that much farm.
Dire's structures are fortified.
A little bit of split pushing from Pycat, but if he's not careful, he's going to be caught by Mad. Mad, who's walking around now with a gem. Just making sure there's really no options for 4C&L. If they have 0 wards up, that makes
Bambo just got arrow 2 mid, but I don't think there's any follow for this.
At least not yet anyway. Arise and Mad are both on their way though.
Waiting for somebody to go on the low ground so Mad can set up for the Glimmer Cape combination, but nobody's really going to present themselves at this point in the game. It's just too dangerous.
Looks like they're going to go for the tier 2 tower at the top lane first.
Yeah,
once again, I am a bit impressed. Like, Monkey Freedom Fighters very clearly are just outplaying 4C&L and being able to obtain a really big advantage early on, but they also, I feel, are playing pretty disciplined. Like, they're not taking any chances with their lead.
Yeah, you can tell just because the TA did opt to go for the BKB. Like, they're playing this incredibly smart. They're saying, okay, yeah, we've got the Aegis advantage on her, but if there is a chance that the fight goes badly, we want her to have a way to continue to deal damage.
Right.
And it's just a safer play. Like, I thought for sure he wouldn't get one just because it's a little bit greedier and it allows you to scale a little bit better. But I think in this case, when you're just trying to go for the high ground and end the game, it's fine.
So the safe lane Mirana, I was kind of curious as to what the build would be exactly. It's still pretty normal. Treads, drums, Ring of Aquila, SNY, kind of everything you would expect out of most agility heroes. Very stat focused and all the early mid-game items that you would expect. So he doesn't try and build into anything like hardcore late, like say a farming item like Maelstrom, anything like that. He just goes straight for why don't we see like any Maelstroms picked up anymore?
I think that you just want to continue to go for the stats-based builds, because Mirana's one of those heroes where all around she's kind of weak. Yeah. Like, she doesn't have the best tank ability. She doesn't have a lot of damage issues. Oh, and Zux is actually going to get caught out here.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like 4C&L are going to be able to turn anything around here. Monkey Freedom Fighters quickly swarm that bottom lane and might just use that small advantage to push uphill. They already have the Aegis. Middle lane looks like Bambo. Well, he managed to take away that tower. Tier 1 tower picked off in exchange for a push uphill now on MFF.
Got a DD rune on Sing Sing as well. They're so afraid to take this fight right now, because if they mess this up, this is going to mean probably the game. They take racks so quickly with their lineup. They don't have the glyph up either.
Tier 3, they do get a minor amount of damage on both Sing Sing and Paris, but that's both quickly being repaired. Arise, 2-shot. Oh, EGM just walks away with a sliver of HP. Swift Ending actually gets hit by the arrow now. Full set of racks down. And it looks like Monkey Freedom Fighters will be able to get out without a fight. In fact, Arise, he wants to be able to challenge this one. He wants more. Trying to use this Aegis, going for Bambo. Can't quite get it. Swift Ending is going to be the target. Secondary one, Black Hole. Once again on 3 with the Fiend's Grip on top. Pycat is double dead. And now it looks like it's just clean up from here. Actually, Pycat comes back in, throws out that Sonic Wave. Able to take out at least Sing Sing as well as Mad. But Arise is still going strong with that Aegis. Trying to battle up against 3. Unable to get any of those kills. And now the gem actually being recovered there from Pycat. Can they get still a kill on Arise? Well, no, they can't. Rampage, and he looks for more. They're going to need to kite him around pretty heavily, but he does have some backup. Both Paris and Yapzor ready to protect their big carry. Refraction getting laid down. Swift Ending, pushback. Great cogs there from Paris, but is it enough? Arise, not quite enough damage to be able to finish off 60 Bambo, and they do get him in the end, plus an extra. With Clockwork going down as well, 4 heroes die, and well, I mean, this is kind of that comeback material, right? You were never going to be able to take a straight-up team fight without a buyback or two. They do lose their lane of racks. They do get forced into a buyback on both Swift Ending and Queen of Pain. And Lena, actually. 3 different buybacks here. I thought there was only 1 or 2.
I mean, you had to do it at that point of the game, though.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is if you don't use the buyback there, you have to get kills. That's the main crux of it. You can't just give up racks, lose 4 heroes, and say, we'll play from default for the next set of racks. Like, that doesn't become any easier. The main problem, though, is that they just didn't get enough out of that fight. Like, you got the beyond godlike streak of the Templar Assassin, but she still winds up with 2,300 gold at the end of that fight. Sing Sing does go for the Maelstrom now after he's beefed up on stats. The game is still incredibly dangerous right now for 4C&L because you're going to feel good about the streaks that you took out, but that still cost you a Rax and double buyback, and you gave a Templar Assassin a Rampage.
At this point, I always feel like once you've won that one fight, you need to immediately try and smoke up and continue to find pickoffs because you're still not anywhere close enough to taking a fair 5 versus 5. You know, like, no high ground advantage, no, like, buybacks, nothing. Like, 5 versus 5, it's not even a question. MFF will definitely take it. So, don't you want to try and go for pickoffs as much as possible? Oh, Sashka, you're very dead. Cogs push back and can't quite get to the Ancients.
Yeah, I guess part of the problem, though, is that if you decide to go for that and you lose the fight outside of your base, the game probably just ends. But I guess it's just a matter of if you think you have enough high ground defense.
Right.
The problem is I don't think they do.
Mad. Seeing the opportunity, they still have the attempted relocate play. EGM is going to go for it now. And will get Swift ending out. 60 Bambo, however, left high and dry, and so too will the Wisp. Left-hand side, what's this? Paris actually running into Pycat. Hookshot is up, but he'd have to kind of YOLO it, so. I like how Swift Ending immediately going for the split push. We knew the Wisp was dead. Swift Ending's just got to make the most of the space. However, Paris is all ready to go to try and hold him up while the rest of his team pushes in bottom. Jump in. Where's the rest of the rotations? Paris, he had his blade mail. Looks like the tier 1 tower will go down. Swift Ending's trying to get outside of the cogs. There's no rotations. Never mind. There's a Boots of Travel being picked up, but the Creepway dies. Swift Ending, he's getting some space now and will be able to get out. In fact, if anything, it's going to be Paris in some trouble as Pycat is trying to cut him off right now with that Scythe of Ice. Little does he know, though, that Mad's coming in as well. Scythe of Ice immediately put on him, and Pycat needs desperately to get out. TP away. And Mad, oh, that it was great game sense there, knowing where Pycat was at, just couldn't quite get the disable off in time.
And they don't have the Aegis. They don't really have the safest way to push right now, so they'll probably, if they want to be absolutely sure about this, they'll just wait out the Aegis. They've got a trap there too. They're going to see it's going to be up in less than 20 seconds, but maybe they don't even decide to wait for this. They know that all the buybacks were used for the previous fight, and even if they have them, that's just going to set them even further behind.
Ooh. There goes the Wisp. I couldn't even get that on camera, right? Just blinked and the Wisp was gone.
And the high ground assault is coming in, but they're going to see that the Roshan is up too.
Yeah. They... Moonlight Shadow? Okay, maybe they're going to try and find that pick off, and if they don't go for the Roshan, or maybe they just continue to go uphill. Arrow gets laid out. Hookshot will actually land, and the arrow on a Swift Ending. Double cog pushback and a rise. Going straight for the carry player, but doesn't actually have enough damage. They're going to back up. Tier 3 tower is dead, and they're going to focus on this melee Rax. Glyph getting laid out. 60 Bambo trying to make himself a target as best as possible. He's successful in that regard, but he'll quickly fall. Takes the Fiend's Grip with him. Satsuka and Cool Cat, they're actually trying to pop a rise, but that is not nearly enough damage. Double ultimate still is not enough. They do get at least Paris. Sing Sing going to be able to leap himself away. Yapzor actually comes in. Black Hole only controlling one. They're going to try and take away EGM, but he managed to get the relocate out. And it looks like just a melee Rax. Nope, never mind. Pycat's going to be caught by this sleep and arrow combination. Now it's just the tiny Wisp, the duo that runs forward, trying to go for Mad, but manages to get some saving grace there from the Glimmer Cape.
Yeah, and they're just going to take a Rax out. And the scary thing right now for 4C&L is that fight looked kind of okay-ish. Like, there was only a one-man black hole. You kind of got a rise low, but the next Aegis is about to pop. That's an Aegis and a cheese. You've got the full AC on the Tiny, so things look a little bit more hopeful, but that fight didn't go well. Now it's just going to get a lot harder, too.
Oh, look at that. Sing actually went back for the Mjolnir.
Yeah, I think going back for it at this point in the game is okay. But part of the problem is that Mirana as a core is just so incredibly weak. She doesn't deal damage. But at the same time, she's not tanky. It's like a conundrum.
I feel like you're... I mean, maybe I'm just overemphasizing the farming capabilities of Maelstrom and Mjolnir, but I feel like oftentimes it's the ranged version of a Battle Fury.
I think it's pretty good, but...
So I feel like at this point in time in the game that you're very close to ending it. Like it's not. This game is very likely not to go much later. So I would have imagined there would have been another late game item that you would have gone for.
I think it's okay in this case, because you know that most of 4C&L can't afford BKBs.
Okay.
If there were a lot of BKBs on the side of 4C&L, then you might have seen a different build.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think Xing Xing knows for sure. Like, there's almost nothing. And you can just put it on the TA and have her go in and drop bombs. Like, there's very little that they can do to stop him at this point. Like, Arise 3 shots everybody in. Pycat's going to blink up.
Sleep first, arrow will land, and they're going to be able to collect more. Paris, beautiful interception, will be able to catch 2 inside the cogs. Even if he dies, perhaps his team can still make the most of it. Blink is up on Yapzor. Looks like they've already slowed down Bambo, and they will throw out the black hole for that one. An immediate buyback there from Bambo. They blew a decent amount, but Paris is actually going to buy back as well. He TP's middle. Oh, there goes the Wisp again. Oh, Lena actually, never mind. Nad going to be able to get a good Fiend's Grip on a swift ending. No interruption, but they will get the relocate back to the fountain once again. Bambo, dive back for him. Not much you can do about that one. Arise with the double damage. Just tearing through things too quickly, and there it is, the GG.
Yeah, at that point in the game, when the Templar Assassin is one-shotting heroes on your team, that's when you call it quits.
Yeah.
They lose Mega Creeps right there. There's no chance for 4C&L to get back. And they just didn't have a way to take a fight for such a long time in that game.
So our next fight...